A person who thinks all the time has nothing to think about except thoughts. So he loses touch with reality and lives in a world of illusions. By thoughts, I mean specifically chatter in the skull, perpetual and compulsive repetition of words, of reckoning and calculating. I'm not saying that thinking is bad. Like everything else, is useful in moderation. A good servant, but a bad master. And all so-called civilized peoples have increasingly become crazy and self-destructive because through excessive thinking they have lost touch with reality. That's to say, we confuse signs, words, numbers, symbols, and ideas with the real world. Most of us would have rather money than tangible wealth, and a great occasion is somehow spoiled for us unless photographed. And to read about it the next day in the newspaper is oddly more fun for us than the original event.
There is no problem of life, in the sense in which we ordinarily use that phrase. And that seems an almost astounding affront to our common sense. Life not a problem. We see it as nothing but problems. We regard ourselves in a morning, noon, and night struggle to solve the great problem of existence. And for some people this problem is why does the universe exist? For other people, the problem is, how am I going to get enough to eat? And therefore, when you take it at one extreme or the other, who can say that life is not a problem? And yet here is this audacious suggestion that what we are bothering about is a ghost. It's something that isn't really there. One of the characteristics of neurotic behavior, you know, is it's repetitive. The neurotic personality keeps going through unsuccessful life patterns, again and again and again, and nothing seems to be able to stop it. The round, or of life as we ordinarily live it. Because it is a round, it is a vicious circle. For the reason that we keep trying to solve problems that are not simply overwhelmingly problems. And so when we tackle, you see, impossible questions, things go round and round and never come out.
All right, what's good? What's good?
Now,
we're live.
Take, for example,
Let me know if you guys can hear me good. About to get started here for the evening.
which haunt our minds.
What's up? What's up? What's up?
We say, for example, that we all have an instinct to survive. And a lot of people...
All right, we're about to get started. Hope everyone's doing well for the week. It's, you know, coming to the end of the week. Should be a big day for the market tomorrow. Where's everybody at? Where's everybody at? Should be a big day for the market tomorrow. With NFP, we'll be live during NFP tomorrow. I don't really know what to expect. You know, the market has already kind of traded to what's forecasted. The dollar's seen some weakness this week. So it depends on how the market data comes out tomorrow for NFP. What's good? Interesting week, definitely. You saw this morning a big drop on gold, and then a nice pullback, nice like buy the dip. It's been trading up higher since. In the Discord this week, I've been pretty much keeping updated every day or every other day with gold since the beginning of the week on mostly bullish biases. They've had a couple like short-term bearish biases for gold, like 28.45 short-term. Overall, we've been kind of marking up some bullish scenarios even the other night, past couple nights. 2 nights ago, if you guys are here, we did talk about how gold could potentially come down even to that 28.40, 28.45. Like I was saying, I would like to see price come down 28.50, 28.40. That was mentioned a lot. If you look at Discord, pretty much called it to the T, like bullish bias, but expecting a retracement. I was saying 28.50, that could 28.45, that could be maybe the first area to expect a reaction on or look for a bullish reaction. And then we had the next zone I said was lower, 28.40, 28.38. So possible scenarios: bearish retracement, gold may pull back towards this area for liquidity, which is exactly what happened. And then the next day I was saying, short-term bearish bias. Still kind of sticking with my bias, sticking with my plan that I had the night before. Still sticking with the same kind of plan, because when I looked at the chart at this time, I'm like, okay, I want gold to retrace to these levels to look for a buy. When I look at the chart the next time, gold is at a higher price, but I'm still thinking of that same setup I had in mind beforehand. That could still play out. I don't want to ignore that and think of something completely new. You might lose track over time of a setup as the market goes. You could be, a lot of scribbles on the chart there. You could be in the market looking for a pullback to here, and you want buys here. You want buys at this area. The market's already going up in an uptrend, and you're looking for buys at this area. And the market may just go up, not give you those buys, right? And oh man, that was a good area. I wish it came to that price, right? Why didn't it come down just a little bit lower to that price, right? For my buy that I had planned. 2 days later, market ends up coming and, coming to that buy that you had planned. So you don't want to maybe lose track at times of that first kind of plan you have in mind. Like we talked about this. The next day I updated it, and it was still kind of on the same narrative. Looking for a pullback, expecting a retracement so I can try to find maybe another bullish move. Gold may pull back. There was some good. If you go through it, it's right on point. It's if selling pressure continues, a deeper move, everything pretty on point. Went over that. I even screenshotted that stuff. So there's a lot of movement this week, and NFPs tomorrow. Looking for trades tonight. I don't always try to look for trades before NFP, because it's a major day in the market. Gold does look bullish to me still. Does look like it could keep increasing. If NFP comes out negative tomorrow, as expected, maybe it comes out more negative, less negative, but if it comes out closer to the forecast, lower than the previous, that could just still keep some demand for gold. Because we have already seen demand for gold all week. And we're going to the end of the week with NFP tomorrow. So it really depends on how the dollar trades tomorrow with NFP. If NFP is good for the dollar, if the news comes out more positive for the dollar tomorrow, then wouldn't keep as much demand for gold short term. Doesn't mean okay, it's going in a downtrend. It's still been in this uptrend. But we got to be kind of evident for tomorrow what I like to kind of expect. and how I like to go into the news kind of like pre-planned, kind of pre-thinking is with this strategy. From time and time again, every week through the month, all the weeks through the month, we will see this from time and time again. I think on the night session I talked about it. There were some reasons I talked about in the night session. Just see my eyes, like seeing demand over there, like seeing where support came from. You could see there's support over here. If you look at the chart, this is support. Why is that a support? Well, look at how the market moves from there, right? Like, can your eyes identify support right here, for instance? Like where I just marked? Where I'm marking the arrow right now? You could see support there, right? Because there was a concrete move that came from there, right? So when you're looking in these midder areas internally, right? Internally could be maybe the market's going up and it's got like a little support here and it keeps going up, right? Like something more internal of a trend. You could see over here 2840, this candle, that red candlestick right there. See that red candlestick? That's support. Why is that support? Well, like look at the next candle and look at how the market just trades after that. It goes higher from that point, reaching this peak, right, from this point. So you have to, so volume comes in here, right? Volume comes into the market here, right? Maybe we go to a 4 hour. Look at the 4 hour, for instance. You can see that red candle there on the 4 hour. That's support. Yeah, it's a bearish candle, but it didn't go bearish after. It could have. There's a bearish candle there, spinning top. Next candle goes up after. It starts a movement from there, right? So there's a demand zone there. That's why I even wrote all my charts were on point this week. So we don't want to get ahead of the market with NFP tomorrow. We got a strategy we can focus on for tomorrow. Perhaps in the first 15-30 minutes of the news. Maybe the first like 30 minutes. Sometimes it's fast. Like they've been pretty, like the last one, if you guys were live with me for the last NFP, it was pretty quick. Gold went for buys. It dumped and went for buys. I even wrote like stronger demand zone in that area at like 2840, like lower. So it comes down to like a support. It's like you gotta kind of, like if you look here, look to the left. Look at these red candlesticks. Maybe on the 4 hour it would be like one red candle. And see how the market moves from there. Comes back. That's also 75. Right? That's also the 75 level on price. So the support can be in a candlestick as well, and a resistance can be inside of a candlestick, singular candlestick, literally. So strategy for tomorrow, when you're going towards a major day like NFP tomorrow, because tomorrow is gonna be it's the most how do I word it? The highest activity day in trading. It's like the highest volume and highest activity. Like it's the most like mainstream news event. NFP Friday. You know, first week of the month, you have this news event for those that are maybe new to forex. This affects currency pairs. This affects XAUUSD, gold. It can even affect Bitcoin, like cryptocurrencies. Look at Bitcoin. Doing some interesting stuff on the 1 hour. Can affect your currency. A currency pair you'll see move like a lot tomorrow will be like USD CAD, because you could see Canadian dollar and US dollar. Major news event tomorrow. So a pair that moves a lot on a day like tomorrow is USD CAD. Your major US dollar pairs, Euro USD, GBP USD, those will move a lot tomorrow in the morning. Gold can move a lot. Everything could move. It's a major day for the market. And like traders know, traders get really excited for it, like especially when they learn about how much NFP can move, right? Traders get really excited about it. A lot of people want to trade, like, what's NFP gonna do? Is it gonna go up? Is it gonna go down? Oh my gosh, we gotta know. Because there's a lot of FOMO with an event like this. Like, people FOMO before, they're like FOMOing during it. So you gotta remember, what creates a market a lot of times is, like, especially like when you think about crypto with leverage traders and liquidations in crypto, right? How those big liquidations in cryptocurrency happen. We saw one just in the past week, right? Where a mass amount of people get liquidated. Maybe that's due to impatience. And if we just want to talk about it from a trader's point of view, what if it's just like people not patient enough? People just want to be in the market in the time, right? They're not waiting for the dip, or they're not waiting for, the rise up first for the sell confirmation. So a lot of these news events can be like traps. A lot of traders get trapped in these news events. You don't want to be that trader that gets trapped. Maybe you have to go through some of those experiences to learn too. There's 2 pretty big videos on my YouTube channel, guys, you can check out that talk about this topic. I'm going to go into it right now. So we're a little bit prepared for tomorrow's morning session. You can see this one here 18 months ago. 18 months ago. Learn how to trade the news, and one that's more recent. You can watch those to kind of go back and get some refinement after I go over what I'm about to go over. So gold's pretty high right now, right? We're going to analyze it and go over the charts. But I'll be live for tomorrow as well, and I want to go over this before NFP tomorrow so you guys kind of get an idea. Some of you guys already know this, perhaps. But usually, I like to call it the news candle, okay? News candle, all right? Back to the Austin Powers. So I like to call it refer to it as the news candle. This can be that candle that happens in the first impact of the news event. So news is scheduled, it's pre-scheduled. So traders are anticipating it, investors, the market. So that news candle can have a lot of volume. It can move really, really fast, really, really quickly. In a couple of seconds, in a couple of minutes, all right? If you're new to the channel, subscribe as well. If this is your first session, drop in the chat. Let me know if this is your first session. Subscribe to the channel because we're here pretty much every day. I've been here every day this week. I think the fear NFP I just priced in. Good comment. I like what you said. I'll elaborate on that. So for you new traders that really don't know about this, in trading, there's a quote that I like to say: slow is fast. Whenever we do like a mindset or psychology session, you'll see me talk about that when we talk about mindset, psychology, or discipline, stuff like that. In trading, slow is fast. All right. So what creates a market too, if you think about what I was saying with crypto this week, with the big liquidation, what creates a market is a lot of impatient people. Hundreds and thousands and millions, in forex millions. In crypto, obviously hundreds and thousands, up to, big numbers, but in forex is very large, right? So what creates a market a lot of times is impatience, and the market knows that. The market likes to drive people out of moves before starting moves. The market likes to reach for certain areas where people are most likely to have their stop losses placed before creating larger movements. So So what you could typically expect with like NFP, and not only NFP, there are other major news. You know, red folder refers to high impact. So there's always other major news events for currencies, and the same major news events for each currency, but there's different news events as well. I have a whole PDF on that for the inner circle, built out and everything. So for you new traders, you got to be kind of like, what I like to say is a quote, another quote. So I said, in trading, slow is fast. Another quote for you could be just sitting on your hands. So learning how to sit on your hands. You'll hear a lot of traders say, in trading you need patience, you need patience, you need patience. But in trading you need like 10 times more the patience than you think you do, realistically. So that's why I like to kind of remember that slow approach can be fast, which might seem boring. Boring is an emotion that can be like, oh, when you're bored, you're not doing anything, right? If you're bored, you're not really doing something sometimes. So you might feel like when you're bored, I'm not doing anything, so I'm doing something wrong. So boring trader is a good trader, right? You don't want to be so much always of an excited trader. Trading can be exciting, but you got to treat it like a job. You got to treat it like a business at the end of the day. It can be time consuming, but the more time you put into it, the less time you end up spending later on when you get really good at the skills, right? Especially if you really enjoy it, like if you love it too, you have like you enjoy the charts, you enjoy learning, you enjoy that process, right? You might even feel at times like it doesn't, feel like work, especially when you come to a point of profitability. Even when you're profitable, you might even, gather some more time into the charts. But it doesn't always need to be. So I have some screenshots here highlighted that I'll go over real quick of examples of NFP. So what I like to do, and again, for you new traders, not only for you new traders, for those of you guys who might be in the hamster wheel, I like to call it, the loop of just going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. This could be something good to do. I like to take screenshots of the major news events, right? Typically, I like to take a screenshot a couple hours after, the same day. Maybe an hour after. It could even be an hour after. But I just really like to, this is a good example of literally a couple, like hours later. So why do I do this? So I can remember scenarios. Because I've been on the charts for 10 years. I don't remember every scenario 6, 7 years ago or 8 years ago, 5. I don't remember every single situation, right? Or scenario, right? So it's good to do this, right? Because if you're year 1, when you get to year 5, you might not remember every single scenario. I have a really good photographic memory. So I have a really good memory of things. So I'm good at remembering a lot of certain experiences. Journaling is so you can remember certain situations in the market. Journaling your charts, because if you think about it, there's how many NFPs, how many FOMCs, how many unemployment claims, how many CPIs, how many PPIs, right? There's more. There's like 8 to 12 major list of news events that can happen throughout the months, year, weeks. You're not going to literally remember every single one. Especially if you're looking at currency, you're looking at AUD, NZD, GBP news events too. NFP is employment, right? The non-farm payroll is the unemployment rate and the employment change, the same event happens for every economy, right? So that's not it. That's official bank rate. That's their FOMC, their interest rates. The same news events. So like, see here, this is a good example, Canadian dollar and US dollar. So you have employment change, unemployment rate for USD, and Canadian dollar happening tomorrow. So you have the same news event on two currencies, right? So when it comes to all these news events, we might be able to scroll back and find we're gonna have to go forward to find the next week. Will probably be like AUD or NZD. Let's see. We'll probably see soon. So see next week or weeks after, see AUD. The same event that's happening tomorrow for USD, the NFP, major news event, happens for the AUD in coming weeks. Okay? It's going to happen for the NZD after, and then the GBP, usually. If we keep scrolling right through the month, we'll probably see NZD, unless it happened already before. Like, what? Let's go backwards. Easier way to do this would be like to filter these out, and literally just take some of these off. I could just do this and find them. Trump speaks. So yeah, no. So there's AUD, for example, right? But you have all these other different events like CPI, the interest rate events that come out. Guess they're later on. GBP. What is GBP? I can't find it right now. We'll go back, but that's just a briefing on this, right? That's just a briefing, like, to understand accumulative. There's a lot of news events, especially if you're someone who's looking at like GBP pair, like you're focused on a mix of like forex. Maybe you like to trade GBP USD. Maybe you like to trade AUD USD, gold, Euro USD. Like when I started trading forex, that's what I like focused on and that's what a lot of people kind of focused on in the beginning, is getting used to the currency pairs, news events, how things can impact the market. Because different instruments, different markets have levels of volatility. To consider, like, gold's much more volatile than a currency pair, to say the least. Every Thursday, pretty much like in the month, you're going to have an event called unemployment claims for USD. So that's another major event for USD that happens a couple times a month. I think pretty much like every Thursday, that news event comes out. Right, every Thursday, you have unemployment claims. And then sometimes there can be multiple events mixed with it. Like if you look at today, for instance, USD in the morning, unemployment claims. That ties in with unemployment rate too. That ties in with employment change. These kind of can tie in together too. When you look at next week, you have the same unemployment claims event. So think about that every Thursday. So if you're trading for years, that's one event that happens every Thursday at the same time, added up multiple years on top of all the other events. That's why I'm saying journaling these events, especially if you're a new trader, something most traders probably won't do in the beginning, something I didn't do in the beginning. So what I'm giving you guys right now is some knowledge. I'm passing you guys some knowledge, right? Understand knowledge is currency. Understand that. Knowledge is currency. Information in this day and age is currency, right? So journaling, most traders, they'll hear about it. It's like, oh yeah, I got a journal, but they won't do it. Or most traders maybe won't even hear about it, know about it, or plan to do it, or think about it in the beginning stages, especially. It's something usually later on that they're like, oh, I got to do this, or nah, I don't need a journal. But it's really good if you're trying to really have a good memory and keep up with things too. Like, okay, this is what happened last time. This did this. Okay, you know. I think it gives you better muscle memory, right? Kind of like reading a book, exercise. Like if you read a book every day, 30 minutes, you're gonna exercise your brain. It's muscle. Do I think gold can reach? You can journal experiences. How do you properly journal? You can journal experiences, write things out. Like I wrote some things out, some little side notes for myself here. The date, right? News candle. And this is primarily journaling the news events. So this is NFP, for example. NFP is one event that happens on the first Friday of the month. So this is really journaling a concept, a theory, if you may, on the NFP, aka news candle. So that's one folder for journaling right there. I got a news journal, right? News event journal, right? May 3rd NFP candle. What happened in the first 15-30 minutes? It pumped up. So buyers come in the market. So they can push it down. Then they buy the dip. I journal more like scenarios, situations. Things that I know I'll need to remember, patterns for more of memory. Not so much every single trade. I like to do journaling of things like this more, especially because there's a lot of news events. Sometimes those news events can create noise. So the reason I like to journal the news is because news events. On other news, if you followed me for time, you might hear me maybe even talk about it in some YouTube videos. I like to say news can be kind of noise. It might interrupt sometimes what you're focusing on, like the setup that you have at hand. It might get in the way in the beginning. Like you might be looking for buys on gold, but gold dumps and then the buys happen after. Same thing. You might be looking for buys on gold, but gold dumps and then the buys happen after. You might be looking for buys on gold, but gold dumps and then the buys happen after. Here, so like you can see, I have several screenshots of some NFP ones here. July 5th. Let me take the camera off for you guys. So here's July 5th. Friday, July 5th. What you can expect is in that first 15-30 minutes, the market to do, it doesn't always have to be something like this, because again, you can look at the other examples that I have. Here's a different news event. So another news, the core PCE price index, that comes out, it pumps up for 15-30 minutes, or what is this? 30 minutes, almost an hour actually, and then it dumps. So they don't all look the same, but they have same characteristics, right? Where this spikes up for 30 minutes, maybe 15 to 30 minute range, and then dumps. After it dumps, it creates another buy. This does the same thing. It spikes up for 15-30 minutes, and then it dumps. So same thing kind of happening here on all these, where it's spiking up and then dumping, or spiking down and then rising. So here you can see like these two are pretty similar. That's why I put them near each other, because they have this really long wick that happens quickly where the market spikes down. So think about this. Anyone who is already buying probably got stopped out because the market dropped, over 200 pips here and made a $20 move. And then it ends up going up the whole entire day. Same thing here. Like if you were selling this, or I mean, if you're buying this, think about it. Like it went up very quickly and then it came down. So this happens a lot. I remember this because I've journaled it. I remember this, and it wasn't that long ago. It was in August. So it's not that long ago for my memory. After this, the next week, the market went up. Like this set up for a buy afterwards. Can do that. Fishy stuff, these news events. Same with this one. Actually, I think it was this one that ended up going up for a buy after. Here's one more recent. I remember I was buying on this candle. I made money on this and I got out, like literally it spiked up. Like I got out after this candle and I should have held it, but I remember this. This was in October. So another example of a news candle. So how do you properly journal? I think that's something like, you know, I can give you maybe some things on that. I'll put in a blueprint in Discord for you, just for you. All right. I'll put some. If you go in Discord, I'll drop a blueprint in there on journaling. I'll think of something. I'll post it probably tomorrow. For those that are already like confirmed for Inner Circle, I'm gonna send you pretty much like an invite link to another platform. You'll have to accept the invite link. I'll be done that soon. I'm like almost done getting everybody's emails together in one little folder, and then I'm gonna send you guys all invitation link to another platform. I'll put a good blueprint in here because I've already done some. That's a good thing. I could, think of some good things to write on. But I think with proper journaling, it can come from kind of like to each their own. Like throughout your own experience, you may find ways to properly journal. Like when it comes down to losing trades, it's like losing a trade's not bad. It's part of the game. So a losing trade is not a bad trade. A winning trade isn't always necessarily a good trade. Depends on how you entered it. Like what if you were just chasing the market and you made money? That might not work every time. A good trade could be just following a plan, waiting for the right entry point. That's why we like to use whole numbers. So when it comes down to journaling, like it's not about maybe looking at every single loss as like, oh, this is a bad loss. Like maybe if you're taking consecutive losses in a row, now it's start to looking at, okay, I just took 7 losses in a row, or I just took 5 losses in a row. I'm doing something wrong. I gotta start, maybe take a step back, see where I'm entering, where my stop loss is, right? If I go on 5 trade loss in a row, or maybe I lose 7 trades in a row, 10 trades in a row. That's happened to me in the past, right? So at that point, it's like, where was I entering? Where was my stop loss? Where did I exit the trade? Because maybe where I was exiting the trade was where I should have been entering, right? Maybe where my stop loss was maybe where I should have been looking at the market for a better signal. Or is there something I'm missing, right? Like, so you can avoid maybe going on that same losing streak, learning from your losses that way. Because like it's normal to take calculated losses. A loss can be normal. You guys saw me. I took one live this morning with you guys, and then I made it back. So it can be a part of the game, right? People like to journal their successes. People like to journal their losses, so they can elaborate from them, maybe remember certain experiences. A lot of people like to journal experiences. This chair is great. This is like, I've had like 5 chairs. This one's the best. Yeah, like people will use an Excel, like I'll show, never mind. I can't show it on stream. But I have I'll show you guys one day. I'll show you guys one day. Don't worry, it's gonna be a long. I'll be on YouTube for a while. Like you can make Excel spreadsheets. There's a lot of journals out there. and stuff where you can plug in each trade or you can plug in your account and stuff. Let's go back to this topic though. I'll write a little blueprint, some tips maybe on that topic. So NFP candle, regardless of like maybe you're looking for buys right now, maybe you're looking for sells right now, NFP candle could bring it. But what I usually like to do for NFP is once a month. So it's 12 times a year. If I'm gonna trade it, I'm gonna plan around it, right? Because I had a good week. I had a good day today too. Really good day with the gold buys that I caught. So NFPs tomorrow, I don't want to ruin my trades. So it happens once a month. Doesn't need to make my month, right? Maybe I hit a home run. Maybe I catch a solid entry and it just runs. Like, that can happen. I was buying this in October. First 30 minutes, dumped. Just completely dumped out $30 move. You're talking a $30 move in that first, this is a 30-minute chart. So this thing dumped, right? It dragged down. First 15-minute candle went down. Next 15 minutes went down as well. It dragged down, went down. And then boom, an hour later, this bad boy's because you're 30-minute candles. So an hour later, it's back up here. And then 30, 60, 90. 2 hours later, making this push up within that 2 hours. So since it happens once a month, I like to go in with, okay, I don't have to trade NFP. I could withdraw my account before NFP. I could withdraw before NFP and just not have to trade it, not focus on it, save my energy for next week, save my money for next week, save my risk for next week. But if it's a plan that I'm going to, because again, you got to plan around things. If you fail to plan, you'll end up planning to fail, right? So it's good. In my FX book, my FX book. I've made a my FX book, so my FX book is good. I created a my FX book, and I'm not gonna show it yet because it's not ready, but one day it will be. It's dope. I'd say it's doper than my FX book. This is my FX book, for instance. You can plug your trades into here. I literally remember accounts like this. This is one account I flipped from 20K to 168K. I flipped another account from 40K to 120K. I flipped a 60K account to 100K in 2 weeks and then just withdrew it real quick. A lot of 10Ks to 20K, 30K, 20Ks to 50K, stuff like that. 10 to 20 flips. I have big plans for the future. Just know that the inner circle, my the ECAB's inner circle will be really dope a year from now. For those that are already in, from month one, it's gonna be worth it. But 8 months, a year from now, it'll be even better. 2 years from now, it'll be even better. 3 years from now, so it's lifetime. Remember. So lock in with what I'm doing right now for the first 100 if you want to be in. What did I click on? Forecast? That's new? I don't know what that is. Maybe it tells me the rate I would have been at. Yeah, it's an older account, but this is like my FX book, for instance, where you can plug in your data. You plug in your investor password, so the read-only password to it. I've seen this this has been around forever. This was an old account, 2023, or no, this was 2022, actually. See, I ran it up. Nice withdraw. I want to flip 100 to 1,000. Start with trying to go 100 to 200 first. Don't Don't start like that. The journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step, right? Don't think of like 100 to 1,000. Think of, okay, 100 to 200, because that's good. Yeah, because if that's capital increase. If I have $100, now I have 200, right? If you did that in a week, that's amazing. Now next week, try 200. Maybe take the 200 to 300 next week, or 400. Don't think you need to take 100 to 1,000. Don't practice that. That's how you'll end up blowing your account when you get it to $400, $500. You could do things like, if you have the risk appetite to risk $100 per week, okay. Depends, not financial advice, but take what you can. Remember, this is all educational, informational stuff. Like, if you could risk $100 a week and go full, Hail Mary, yeah, I could do that. So I usually do that with, 5 G's, a couple G's, right now. This is when I was doing it with like 20, but your boy's like all in, Bitcoin. So right now I'm doing it with like 5 10s. Sometimes like even, I just took $1,000 to $1,800 on one trade, so. What's the risk? It'd have to be a whole session I've had to devote to that. Like, I'd have to do a whole session on this for 2 hours to really just keep elaborating on it and give you guys different, because there's so many different perspectives you can have on approaching the market. But if you're looking at like, I want to take $100 to $1,000, that's not that's a huge increase. It's possible, right? But like, if you look at starting smaller and building your way up, right? Like, okay, if I could get 100 to 200, that's good. That's increase. You'll gain progress in doing that, and that's enough progress to also become disciplined, right? At the same time, right? Because you don't want to get ahead of yourself, right? If I could start, okay, let me take 100 to 200, 100 to 250, something like that, more narrowed in. Obviously, the goal is 100 to 1,000, right? But I think if you like, I want to go 100 to 1,000, then you'll probably be more confident going 100 to 200, right? Maybe you're risking $20 on the first trade, $30 on the first trade, $10 on the first trade, right? Whatever it is, whatever your kind of comfort area is, to have that increase. Because if it's $10 on the first trade, maybe you get an increase to 120, 130, 125. But if I was risking $30 on the first trade, for instance, which is 30%, but to me it's only $30. So it's different if I was using $10,000. If I was using $10,000, I might risk like $1,000 on the first trade, $1,500 on the first trade. A bigger amount of money, but a lesser percentage, right? Whereas $100, well, the value of $30 to me, what's the intrinsic value of the $30 to me on the account balance, right? Emotionally, financially, right? So if I'm risking $30 on the first trade, like literally I might be able to take that 100 to 160 just on one trade, almost to the 200. Like, depends on like your risk too. Like, but if you could practice that punch, like, see, if you look at the group, there was a guy, like, for instance, might be on the live here. I'm gonna look in the chat. Yeah, he is. Alright, I got photographic memory. I looked at the chat quick, saw his name, and I was messaging him other day. I got photographic memory, remember that. So if I keep seeing your name in here, just remember that. Like, Skid's been up in there, man. You just oh man, where is it? Oh, it's in Pip and Dip, no? It's like, man, there's a lot now. Holy, this is just this morning. Oh snap! I don't even trade US30. Good job, like, gold. I see. Oh, nice. I saw US30. I haven't looked at all these because I've been busy gathering all the emails together. I didn't realize how many DMs I was gonna get. Oh, nice. Big lots. Big lots. Williams. Oh, yeah. That was today. Okay. 8. Look at that. 28.50. I didn't even see this. Paying attention. 28.50. Look at the lots and look at the amount. That's what, like, if you look at some of my profits, to me, like, you might see me make $1,000, $1,800, but then look at the pips. Like, if you look at pip and dip, I posted something not long ago. It's all about them pips, yo. Look at the lot size. Look at the, that's good. That's almost 200 pips. Boom. Another one, sniper, 28.70. Oh man, if those were held, if those were held, baller. Cause yeah, if those at one point in the day, like, cause that was 28.70, those were held. I did say 28.70, 28.74 area. Look at that, 28.50 mark. Nice, dope stuff. Pip and dips. No, that's like that's over 200 pips. Captain, yo's been on the scalping, yo. I like what I'm seeing. He's that dude. I knew it, yeah. I knew it. I knew it. You know, these days, when you've been streaming as long as I have, you know, sometimes you might offend people if you say, you know, so if he sees this or if he's on here. Yo, this guy, if you guys, he's been learning, plugging in, learning, taking the information. I remember this. Again, banger, 28.50. Like, are you guys seeing this? I don't even have to stream and send signals. Like, people are learning, but it's coming. Because that was literally, like, y'all caught that in London session. I'm trying to find the one that I'm referring to, but as you can see, there's a lot of testimonials here from people that are plugging in, learning, taking the knowledge, following my insights. Like, I'm not even gonna find it. I went over it last night, but or 2 nights ago. Found it. That was just from the last 2-3 days. So, like, for instance, this guy did 100 to 600 in one day. Like, when you do something like that, you want to withdraw, because, like, you don't want to expect that every day. That's a home run, you know. When a baseball player's at bat, they might hit some, you know, some tees, some hits they know they can hit, but, you know, not every hit's going to be a home run, right? But if you have, like, the right risk and you're like, okay, I'm going to risk $50 and go for this. You know, I'm going to risk $20 and go for this. $100 like he did. He put $100 in his account. Euros. Working on them euros, yo. Euro step next summertime. Euro step, Greece, Italy this year, for sure. Those are, maybe Spain, to be honest. South of Spain's fire. I'm gonna decide, but I'm definitely gonna vacate. I'll definitely, after all the streaming I'm gonna be doing, and I'm gonna be here every day, like, and with the inner circle. I'd probably take a vacation in the summer for like a couple weeks. I'll probably be at it like 6 to 8 hours a day, 8 to 10 hours a day. Some of my streams have been 3-4 hours long, if you go look. But this is €100 to, what did he get it to? Equity. Oh, 625. I don't know if he withdrew or kept the ball rolling, you know. start the next day. I think he's in the chat, so things like that are possible. So it's like, imagine if he was, like you could put into perspective, like imagine if he was using 1,000 or 10,000 or 5. That's why I say it's good to practice that 100 to 200. Because imagine when you're doing it with $1,000, right? It would be, 1,000 to 2,000, right? Imagine when you're doing with 10K, 5K. When you're doing 10K, it's 10 to 20. It's a different ball game, right? You're doing with, so like, that's why like practicing maybe 100 to 150 is even good. 100 to 200 and staying kind of narrow. Oh, I see. Yeah, that's the C. Jeez. That's good. Man, Canadian dollar is getting wrecked, man. The Canadian dollar is getting RKO'd. Randy Orton style. Like the water, like these things like went from like 2 years ago. These Avions like 6-pack were like $8.99. Like it's bad when someone like me starts to notice it. Now they're like $12.99. Little things like $29 a year ago is now like $42. I'm like, yo, Canadian dollar gotta chill. It's bad. Yeah, Canadian dollar tomorrow is a major news for CAD, especially with all the trade war stuff going on with USA. That might have eased things off, I think, because if you look, Canadian dollar just dumped, right? Maybe that eased some things off because they paused the whole trade wars thing, so maybe they're going in a new negotiation. Let's see. Canada's economy is the state of Alabama. So if you have the state of Alabama, you have Canada. Like obviously Alabama is just one state. Canada's a big country that has a lot of resources and stuff. But the state of Alabama, in terms of GDP, when we talk about the term GDP, like Canada is slacking in terms of like how much money there is actually here, right? People be broke out here. It was polled and studied last month that about 50% of Canadians are like $100 to $200 away from like not even be able, most like $200 away from not even be able to like afford groceries and their bills. Canada, holy, the USD CAD, if you're trading it, it could maybe be on a roller coaster, CAD prices are insane. Even like someone like me is saying that. I'm like, damn, like starting to notice that. It's crazy. Like obviously I have people tell me all the time, like, but I'm it's speculative. Like I don't, like to me, like just looking at a chart, like I would think this thing might dump super high, highest it's been in years, right? COVID times. If it breaks above that level, then who knows? It's last time it was there was also 2016. COVID every 4 years. The USD CAD. 2016. 2016. President. 2016. 4 years. 4 years later. 4 years later. I think like from a chartist point of view, I don't know what's gonna happen with the trade wars and stuff with Canada and US. Like I think Trump's plan is to make the dollar cheaper, so that would bring USD CAD down technically. If the US and Canada negotiate more and become more allies, right? More partners, neighbors, like it's always been, and there's none of this conflict. Like then that would be more better for the USD CAD. Like it would bring USD CAD down more. If they don't go into trade wars with the tariffs. If tariffs happen to Canada, expect USD CAD to go up. 4 to 6 months, Canada would probably be in a recession. If trade wars, because US could Canada, I don't think Canada could do that battle. I don't think that's a battle they would want to do. If Canada wants to export oil too, like it goes through the US, right? If oil needs to go to Quebec or somewhere, it goes through the US first, right? So it depends. I don't know. Like Justin Trudeau and Donald Trump, they had a phone call and they paused the tariffs. So that caused USD CAD to dump. Tariffs were paused for 30 days. They said for 30 days, we're going to work together to negotiate to see what we can do. So they paused it. That was quickly USD CAD went down because USD CAD going down means, USD to Canadian, it becomes cheaper. The Canadian dollar becomes like stronger. Right now, Canadian dollar is weak against the US dollar here. So it depends on like what happens with the whole tariffs things. But if you look, like we're at a pretty high level on USD CAD on the monthly, right? If tariffs continue, if in 30 days tariffs, we're doing tariffs, US doing tariffs to Canada, then Canada's doing them back to US, then it's something interesting. Bro, I live in Australia. True, yeah, probably too. Yeah. Especially if you've lived there for a long time, and like for Canadians, it's like the price of Bitcoin is in US so I look at Bitcoin in US dollars. I live in Canada, but I don't look at what it is priced in Canadian dollars, because if I save Canadian dollars, if I've been saving Canadian dollars, basically my purchasing power has been going down versus what things are priced in USD, right? So you can go look online, go on YouTube, look up like Canada, US tariff stuff. Twitter has a lot about it. I know Cointelegraph, if you're on Twitter and follow Cointelegraph, they were posting a lot about it. And like watch Watchfinder. Watchfinder. That's where I bought my first ever Rolex years ago. Those guys, man, I went back in to try to trade a watch to them, and they tried to lowball me like $12K, and I was like, nah, never coming back here again. They lost a good customer for visit, because I bought my first Rolex from these guys. And then when I came back in to trade a different watch I had, they were like treating me like I was some young punk that didn't know the watch game. Yeah, like there was a lot of news with the whole Canada-US situation still ongoing. Like even I've been watching the news. Whoa. 12 hours ago. Oh yeah, I saw this. Okay. Trump Media. That's his company. His stock? Is that his stock company? I think that's his Trump Media, right? Stock company is a stock, right? Oh yeah, ChatGPT is down worldwide. Yeah, someone said that last night. I know there's been a lot. Even Cointelegraph was posting a lot about it. That's where I was seeing a lot of the news, and just all over Twitter when it was happening. So as far as USD CAD goes, like if I was thinking, I'll go back to the chart and show you what I'm thinking. We gotta look at some crypto news real quick. If I'm thinking long term, it's like, especially like I would hope for Canada, because I'm from here, and like 10-15 years ago, like I was born here, raised here, not the same country it was 10, 15 years ago, right? Where I grew up and was raised. So like I would hope for at least the economy, currency, like what's happening right now, that like this chart could come down, like we've kind of seen from these levels historically over the last couple 4-year turnovers of the presidential election, even with Donald Trump's first term, Joe Biden, Donald Trump again. We've actually reached these levels around the same time of their inauguration. If we look at Friday, January 2016, when was Trump? Trump became what? Oh no, did he come in 2017? Or was it 2017 November? Or was it 2016? Right? Would have been here, right? Because the elections would have been in November of 2016, if I'm not mistaken. Right? Let's just fact check myself real quick. Yeah. Every 4 years. Dirt. So elections happened before. This was January. What happens in January? Inauguration, right? So we pushed up into inauguration. 4 years later, this is March. So first quarter, we're almost to March. Still kind of like around the same time after elections, boom. So interesting there, I would say. 4 years later, elections here. Like when price has been here, this wasn't elections inauguration. 4 years later would have been November down here, right? 4 years later would have been in November. If I'm not mistaken, right? Yeah. But historically here, like this is where Trump over here. So I think under him, he wants to make a cheaper dollar for others to use within their currency. Because if I'm holding Canadian dollars, let's say, in my savings account for the last year, the last 6 months, the last 4 years, it's harder for me to work with the U.S. dollar in a way, right? My purchasing power has technically eroded if I'm looking at things priced in USD realistically, right? So like under him, from research I've done, I think, where he was last term, he made dollar cheaper against other currencies like USD CAD, for instance, USD to Canadian dollar. So like, it would be hard for Canadians to travel to the U.S. right now, or maybe even other countries, because you got to spend in USD, right? So if USD CAD came all the way back down to here, what would happen? More people would go to the U.S. travel. Maybe it'd keep more people in Canada too. More business, like the business is local, because a lot of business has left Canada too, is what the people running Canada don't understand. A lot of business has left Canada. Business is money. So I don't know who's running the show, man, but they're messing up this currency here. But we could see like this for me. Maybe tomorrow it's gold and USD CAD focus, because NFP, USD CAD, trade wars. USD CAD gets a big day tomorrow. With CAD, it's always USD CAD that moves a lot on like tomorrow. Daily chart, we can see extreme level. So it's definitely something we gotta keep an eye on, because if we're looking to swing trade USD CAD, imagine if it goes in that trend, like that could be a big swing. If we're trying to swing trade USD CAD, not scalp it, like a swing that stays under here. If tariffs continue, it would break above that level, and unfortunately, that's bad for Canada. If tariffs, even if Canada imposes tariffs on the U.S. too, like if it's still not good for Canada. Like, so I would end up probably breaking above there. So like swing wise, like it's definitely an interesting level. In times the USD CAD Canadian currency is in, and Canada itself. big rejection there. Looks like maybe a distribution building up. Like these lows are getting really interesting here. These equal lows are getting these lows here are just getting really interesting now, right? And how we just kind of went all sideways here. Those lows are looking pretty interesting now on USD CAD, right? How we have these equal lows here. NFP is definitely going to be interesting for USD CAD tomorrow. What if it spikes it up, but you know there's a swing offered, right? Long term, like it's definitely, you know, maybe this month going to March, because look at last time it was here was 4 years ago, but it was there in March. 4 years ago after that, like under Trump, January, February, March, you know. And interesting, I usually don't always, you know, usually when you come on these streams, we don't look at USD CAD always, or currency pairs always, but I think it might be an interesting chart to focus on this year, the next couple months, like next month or two, like see like what happens with price, try it, maybe try 2 trades on it. I might try a trade or 2 on it to see if I can get a swing, like if in the next month, maybe try out a swing or 2. Like sometimes when you're projecting a really big swing in the market, it might take more than 1 attempt. Like if you're looking for like a down move on something, like a big move, it might take more than 1 attempt. And it might, few reasons. The first entry might not work. You might catch an entry, it goes into profit, comes back to your entry. And just the time it might take for the market to actually make that move. So I'll be focused. We'll be watching USD CAD on the next couple of streams and next couple of weeks for sure. Gold still bullish overall. There's a lot of demand for gold, which is like something I brought up at the beginning of the week, which is a lot of traders out there just don't get that. Like gold is really, really high, but I mentioned first stream of the week, like guys, trade wars, you know, this is going to create a lot of tension for gold. It's going to have a lot of demand for it. That was our first discussion on our first stream this week, right? I even dropped in the Discord, like, okay, like, you know, gold is definitely in a strong demand phase right now with trade wars, all that stuff, uncertainty. It's acting more as a safe haven asset because there's a lot of uncertainty. You got everything that's going on with US, all these other countries, Ukraine, Russia, Israel, right? That whole situation right out there. Not going to talk about that. But that's obviously a conflict and crisis that's happening in the world. Been happening, right? With the wars. That it's a safe haven, right? It's acting like that because there's still uncertainty because not everything's resolved. Nothing's resolved, right? There's still going to be uncertainty, right, in the markets due to this nature and the environment. That doesn't mean there can't be sells on gold, right? That doesn't mean there can't be pullbacks, right, or retracements. The day you get that sell, it's probably the day there's a big dump, like it starts a bearish move, it's going to be different signs of that, I think, than what we're getting right now. It can create these drops, but you know how people in crypto say buy the dip? Well, what is Bitcoin? When Bitcoin dumps, what do people say? Buy the dip, right? Well, what is gold, right? Gold is an asset. What is Bitcoin? An asset. A digital asset. Digital gold, as I quote Jerome Powell. So like gold, it's an asset. Like when it comes down to that psychology, it could be, okay, buying the dip, right? If you're looking at gold on the 4-hour time frame, I'll teach you guys. If you spend enough time with me, I'll teach you guys. All you really need is the 4-hour and the 1-hour lowest. Like you don't like. I'll teach you guys. Like if you spend enough time with me on sessions consistently, all you really need is the 4-hour, right? Everything else can just be kind of okay outside of my noise. Just wait for the 4-hour to line up and give you strong confirmation. That's how I flipped this account. was only trading off the 4 hour in that time. I mentioned that last night. Remember, if you were on last night, I mentioned there was a time in my trading, and I'm probably gonna go back to that when I want to have my big days, big weeks. I'm gonna go back to just, guys, I'll teach scalping. There'll be a point where I'll be teaching scalping, but I won't be like doing so much live analysis on scalping, and just stick to 4 hour markups. That was this week, guys. Like, if you look at this week, all my markups, there wasn't a crazy amount, but there was one every day or every other day. That's just 4 hour analysis, right? When you look at gold, 1, 2, I'll turn my little, do I need to turn the camera off? No, we're good. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 times where you could have bought the dip. Buy the dip. I bought this morning's dip. Successfully bought the dip. All right. Successfully bought the dip this morning, lads. It was a nice dip into New York. Like, you could see these moves, right? Retracements. That's all they are. Nice 4 hour retracements. The uptrend hasn't broken yet. It could still go up. I think like there's a few reasons why it could still go up. One, I just said the whole trade, like, uncertainty, not just with the trade war stuff that's happening now. China is still imposing tariffs and stuff. Like, China and US have some deals, stuff to talk about. But the wars, right, going on, that still creates a lot of uncertainty, right? And gold's, if you zoom out, gold's always gone up. Whether you look at it on a 10-year scope, a 20-year scope, a 30-year scope, a 40, 50, 60-year, a 5-year, it's always gone up. I guess we live in times of uncertainty, always. You go to India. If you go to India, a really big populated country, what are all the wives, or the husbands wearing, the fathers, what are all the people wearing? If you go in, they're wearing a lot of gold, right? They wear gold. If you go to India, they wear a lot of gold there. Rings, diamonds, a lot of it, like more than just like an average person would in my country. They'll have multiple rings on, multiple chains, or just so. People gotta wear that Bitcoin. So when you think about everything going on, we're definitely in environments you gotta learn how to tone out and be more grasp to the charts in a psychological way. Like, you gotta, like, I've been through, like, oh, okay, the market's doing this. Okay, I gotta watch out. It could go up. It's been like that for the last 2 years on gold. So it's like, the way I'm gonna trade with, we've done a lot. We've been on point. If you go look at everything I've wrote and go look at what price did after, like from when I wrote it and what happened after, on point. Pretty on point for every scenario. So I want to treat, like right now, price is at 27.70. Like, it's holding 28.75. Maybe it's USD CAD shorts. Maybe, I don't know. We gotta see tomorrow NFP. Remember, what my plan is. I'm not gonna take a trade tonight. I'm not gonna trade before NFP. I'm not gonna trade London session. I'm gonna wait till NFP. Like I said, I'm gonna wait till NFP. Follow my strategy that I've done over time, right? I know we're streaming. So when it comes down to streaming and stuff, like, I obviously want to make you guys money, help you guys, right? But when it comes down to my own personal trading, you guys got to understand too, I got to protect myself, right? I got to make my money and keep my money. So as much as I want to find trades, trade all the time, sometimes, you got to you got to learn to keep your profits too, right? It's not always about, okay, where's the trade right now? No, okay, let's look at the work that's been done, move forward, right? So at my level, you guys got to understand that too, right? If there's times where I don't send markups and stuff, or if there's a morning where I go on later or don't stream, or a day where I'm like, I'm not streaming today, guys, it's probably because I'm just being more defensive, right? Because think about how much I'm on the charts with you guys, 4, 5, 6 hours a day, sometimes 8 hours a day if you look at some of the streams. So that's chart time, and then my own chart time, right? So part of it's also about keeping my profit too, and not getting so distracted with every move I see, right? That's why if you look at this week, it was just clean approach, right? If you look at all the markups, you can study from them. Tomorrow's NFP, so my plan is to wait for NFP. Maybe mark up some levels now. Like you can obviously see, I said this morning. Remember what I said this morning? If we solidify above 2850, we'll probably remain above it then. Who was on this morning? Come on. I want to see who was on this morning. Does anybody remember that? Come on. This is the chart. Who was on this morning, fam? $28.50 held. Remember I bought at $28.50 this morning, and then I was like, I'm getting out. I took a quick L, but $28.50. That was the first reaction place we were talking about in Discord too, and on every session this week. It reacted 200 pips there. That's where a lot of you guys caught those fire trades. I just saw. I didn't look at it. I didn't notice how much there was. That was the beginning of the week. Oops. Yeah, if you saw when I was scrolling before, there were some 28.50s. No, that's beginning of the week more. I gotta scroll. We gotta go this morning. Yeah, we're gonna have to go to like today. The 28.50 buys. Trying to find some of those. I think here. Around the 28.50s. I saw one I just had was right at 20, right there. See, 28.50. We've been talking about 28.50. Why? I talk about it with the blueprints, right? In the Discord. If you guys don't know my Instagram too, check my Instagram out. There's a link in my bio. There's a bunch of stuff there. Go to the link in my bio on here. I'll drop it in the chat. Check my Instagram out. Follow me on Instagram. So I was saying, like, if we solidify, because there's a wick forming, if you were there in the moment, this is why I say sometimes it's key to be there in the moment, because remember, that moment, that wick was forming, and I was saying if there's a bottom wick forming, maybe the body becomes smaller body. You got a shooting star right there. Not a shooting star, a hammer. Opposite of a shooting star, right? So when we go to our little booklet here, that's your pin bar, right? We're gonna have to escape this, go to, how do I make it so it's just one page? So that's opposite of your shooting star, right? Your hammer, your pin bar, right? It's right there. At a key level where, okay, we understand, what we can understand from this morning was there was a lot of liquidations, right? Price ran, made a lower low, came into like a demand zone. Put on fair value gap indicator, that'll help you find demand zones. I'll be teaching a lot about that. But you could see, like, just with price, like there's a lot of tools, indicators, gadgets we can kind of use to give us like little glasses, right? If you study price a lot, you'll learn a lot, like just with the candles and price. A lot of traders overcomplicate trading. So in my time, I've had to take a lot of steps back in trading and be like, all right, let me go back to the basics. I saw someone posted something today in Discord, and it was actually a really good thing they mentioned in Discord, how they took a little step back to refine some of the basics. $28.50, for example, you could see exactly what I was talking about. There was a solidified close above it, right, on the 4 hour. Sell or buy, I don't know right now. I'm not trading right now. I'm not trading before NFP. No, I'm not trading before NFP. So I don't really care. Market could be sell, market could be buy. I don't. NFP, you're gonna see the same person every week. On Thursday, Friday, you're gonna see a disciplined person. You're gonna see someone who's just, I don't care if the market goes up 500 pips. I don't care if the market goes down 500 pips. NFP happens once a month. You're going to see a change of behavior when it comes down to me on NFP day. Because, like, I don't need NFP to be profitable. Like, if you look at the week, right, I don't really care about what NFP does because look at the week, right? There's been good markups without NFP. NFP can do anything, right? So there's no, for me, the market's been in a buy, right? So if it's a sell or a buy, there's not a trade right now. The trade was here. So it's either you're holding that or letting the market continue that momentum unless you get sell signs, right? The market's still in an uptrend. So when you're asking like sell or buy, it's like everything we've been talking about on the sessions is like we've been looking for buys, right? You got to understand like what market you're in. You're in an uptrend. So you're looking for buys, right? There's not a buy right here though, right? You're looking for buys in this market because you're in an uptrend, right? There's not, I wouldn't say there's a good buy here for me, not tonight. So NFP day, I gave you guys my plan already and my approach for what I'm going to do tomorrow when I'm live. Because I'll still trade NFP, but I don't trade before. I usually don't trade London session before NFP. Sometimes gold is slow, and sometimes even the overall market does nothing before NFP, and sometimes it does a lot. So for me, NFP day is a different day in the month, in the week, where I'd rather just chill. It could be a sell or a buy. If I see something, you'll always see. If I have a chart, I'll bring it up on stream. If I'm in a trade, I'll be like, guys, I'm buying right now. Guys, I'm selling right now. Guys, I'm looking for this. But it's not going to be like that every moment, guys, where we're on the charts. Like, it can't be. Like, look how many setups I call out on a weekly basis. We can't overtrade the market. It's about consistency week in. If you trade 4 days in the week and you're profitable 2 days, so if you go to the market 4 days in the week and you're profitable 2 days, that's 50% of your week. Most of the job's done. Imagine if you could go to work, if you have a job, if you could go to work 2 days out of the week and still get the same paycheck instead of having to show up for 4 or 5 days a week, right? In trading, you show up 4 days a week, 5 days a week to find those 2-3 profitable days. And then your week's done. Because in trading, you can go to the market 4 days in the week and have 2 profitable days. That's 50% of the week done. You could have made $500 in those 2 days, right? The time, right? So we have to value our time as traders and the money we make. So there'll be days where it's like, guys, like, if I'm on, like, if you're on with me consistently every day, some days it's, guys, we got this, I'm here every day. So today it's not sell or not buy, it's chill out, sit on hands. That's what I'm doing. That's my plan. Maybe you get break and retest above here. I think I said that in the beginning of the week. Maybe something like that happens if the market breaks above this level. I'd rather wait for NFP, and if the market like flushes down, I'd probably look for buys. I'm not looking for sells. I'm saying more if the market does this. So if A happens, I'll do B, right? If A doesn't happen, then I'll do nothing. Or I could give myself an ABC style of thinking. If A happens, I'll do this. Or if B happens, B could be this. Maybe this is my other scenario that I have on the sidelines. But I'm more like, I want to drop on gold so I could look for buys. I want gold to dump, and I want to wait so I could look for buys. That might be more for tomorrow, not tonight though. NFP could dump gold, or NFP just shoots gold up to the moon, 2,900, 2,890, and it just keeps going, right? What you guys got to understand, it's about, tomorrow's a major day in the month. So a trader like me, who's been 10 years in the game, doesn't treat tomorrow like a fun day. Like it's a serious day. Like I'm not gonna just, I don't always take trades before NFP. That's my rules. So I give myself rules in my trading. I'm not gonna take, so rule for Evan's rules, no trades before NFP, no trades during NFP, right? Wait at least 15-30 minutes, right? During an NFP, right? That's Evan's rules. Bob or Sally might have their own rules, right? Evan has his rules for him that keeps him not emotional, not distracted, not chasing the market. So, because I'm an aggressive person, I like to put on risk, right? This is for NFP day. My plan of approach, like I said, is more waiting first 30 minutes tomorrow, seeing if it dumps, seeing if it pumps, and what happens from there. Because if it dumps and the news is negative for the dollar, I'm buying gold. If it dumps and news comes out negative for dollar, then I'm buying gold. If it dumps, news comes out more neutral for dollar, then still could maybe be looking at gold buys. Like it depends on how the dollar news comes out, because if dollar news comes out positive tomorrow, gold will dump, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's a buy setup. It'd be like if gold dumps and news comes out negative for the dollar, that's a good 1 + 1 = 2, I like to call it. Because typically, like if the dollar comes out negative, gold's supposed to go up, right? Most traders expect that. If dollar news comes out negative, most traders expect gold to fly up. But the perfect scenario is when dollar news comes out negative and gold dumps. Because most traders are already buying it because they're like, oh my gosh, the news came out negative. Then the buy happens 30 minutes to an hour later and they all miss it. So that, like, there's a different plan of approach with a day like tomorrow for someone like me. You're going to see every NFP and every FOMC a different type of behavior with me. You won't see a fun guy. So on NFP days, don't ask Evan if it's a buy or a sell on NFP days. It's a different day, right? You don't want to mess around with NFP. You don't want to mess around with NFP, man. Trust. I've been burned. Here there's a low. If the market dumps underneath that low, it's like that's a low where we could see buys came in above 2850 low. So it's like if we were to come back to there, it'd be an interesting spot, right? If we were to come back down there, or if NFP just dumps it below that low, right? If NFP dumps it back into here, right? I'm not chasing that NFP dump or NFP pump. I don't do that. I wait till after. Because like I said, I don't need NFP to find good trades, right? Like I don't really need like a non-farm payroll news event to catch 100 pips, 200 pips on gold. You know what I mean? Is that me? Oh, huh. What is this? The Indian, yeah, this guy. Yo, man. Like, to find decent trades, like, these are small lot sizes, but, like, really small for me. Like, that's, baby lot right there. what is that? 0.1, 0.1, 0.1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Like not even a standard lot, right? It's decent. Like you can still do work with that. See, right? In terms of maybe catching a move. Light day there, and then these trades too. So I caught trades, closed it when it went up to like 58. I mean, like there's another one here. That's not sharing the full image for some reason. And then these ones too. See, like if you look at the lot sizes, there's some smaller, some bigger, but that's the biggest one. That lot size is literally what I had on the other screenshot, right? Fully, like that single lot size right there, 0.65 is literally how big all these positions are. That's literally like 0.65 right there. That's one, like, so this is pretty bigger. This will be a bit bigger than that. But just between there, this got up to like $1,200 over at the most. This got to like 6 at the most, like kind of where that is right now. So decent. So I'm waiting for NFP tomorrow to maybe find like one more trade, maybe a pip and dip. It'd be interesting to see what NFP does though. Like you have. Most people are probably going to be shorting gold here. So obviously it's an interesting area. 2780, 2880, 2875, right? So like shorts here could get wiped out. There's a lot of shorts probably here. They could get wiped out. Market could just break through this level, go up to make a new high. So you could like 2870, 2875, you could have used it already. Like it's used and recycled. You know, you don't want to use, it's not always keen to try to rob the same bank twice in trading. Like 2875, that's done and dusted. That's done dusted for me. I done dusted that. For instance, like that, I like these trades. I caught sells at 2874 pretty much. Right? This got up to over $3,000. I forget the exact amount. See, here's more of it in profit. I think it kept going. I shared a screenshot when it was at like $2,800. For me, 2870, 2875 areas kind of done dusted. I like to say, like I talked about that yesterday morning and the night, like kind of was talking about yesterday morning, right? So that area, like it may still hold, or even like the market now could create a higher zone at 2875, 2880, but like we're still obviously in that area, but I'm not trying to short again there. I already did. Like it could be a possibility. If you like shorts on gold, you have to see if that area holds one more time. It has been already. You just have to, like, if that's a setup that fits your style. It's not that it's not a bad setup. I'm just, my rules are I don't take trades before NFP. That's my rules. My rules are just that simple. It's not that hard of a rule. Like, I'm not going to take a trade before NFP. It's not that it's a bad area. I'm just saving my ammunition for after NFP. Like, I don't want to waste my bullets right now, right? I've already shot the gun a couple times. I got some ammunition, right? Like, if we want to kind of metaphorically help you guys understand, it's not that it's bad, but I've already used it. Like, I already talked about this yesterday in the morning. Like, what the market could do. It did exactly what I wanted to the T. I'm going to keep the work done, the progress done like that. Next week, do the same thing. Next week, do the same thing. NFP for me is, again, a day that I'm like, meh. So it's not that, like, people asking about shorts here, like, it's not that it's a bad setup. I don't trade before NFP. So, like, the way I mentally focus on the market before NFP, It's not so trying to be on it. I still think gold could push up. Like I wouldn't personally be interested in shorts here just because how the market moved. Like I'd want personally price to drop so I could potentially look for buys, if that makes sense. Like I'd want price to maybe come back down, maybe test some levels. I'd want price to maybe drop before going for a buy, have a dump down. I want to see if NFP brings that scenario tomorrow, right? Maybe if it comes lower, like, because like realistically, I don't know it from my experience. Like trying to predict everything ahead of time, you end up underestimating the market sometimes. You can underestimate the market on a day like this or overestimate it. So you don't want to underestimate or overestimate things. What I mean by underestimate is, oh, I like this buy setup, but what if NFP comes out and gold dumps down to here? So you might be underestimating the market's potential tomorrow, right? Or you're overestimating how far it could go and such. So that's the thing with NFP day. After probably a long time ago, I probably had a bad day. I probably lost like $20,000, $30,000 in a day, or something like that, and was probably like, I'm never trading NFP. It was probably something of breaking my rules, right? Why I made that rule. I probably had a really bad day. Probably lost someone's salary, yearly salary, in 5 minutes, and was probably like, damn, I'm not trading like that again. It was probably a rule I installed a long time ago because I've been doing. I always say, like, if you've streamed with me, if you've been on sessions with me, I've always treated NFP the same for a couple, like 2-3 years now. It's better to wait for the pump fake, you know? We call it the pump fake. It's better to wait for that, right? Better wait for that pump fake. I know. One day you guys will appreciate me yelling at you. One day you guys will be like, "Damn, man, that guy was right." One day you'll be like, "Man, he was right." Watch. One day, a year from now, 2 years from now, you'll be like, "Damn, now I know why that guy was yelling at me on YouTube." So, now I know why that guy was yelling, like, trying to discipline me. Discipline. Not everyone has that. So when you look at even the counter trend line, we got a counter trend line break here kind of going on too, eh? You guys, does this look familiar to us? Does this look familiar to anyone? Anyone see some familiarity here? Anyone? Where was it? See this? Kind of looks like, see this little guy over here? The little guy, that's what I call these patterns. I call him little guy. See this? How you had this reaction, went up, boom, pump down, broke up, pulled back, went down, went up more. Kind of looks like that, doesn't that? Remember that one? Crazy thing is, we actually bought right. We were buying right there, if I'm not mistaken. We were looking at that, or no, we were buying the next one. Where were we buying? Ah, here it is, right here. This one. So it kind of looks like one of these little guys here. We were buying right here. We were buying this one, and I remember I was like showing you guys this pattern, and I was like, doesn't it look like this, right? So when we look at it right now, for those of you guys who are fiending for a trade right now, right, who just can't hold your gears till tomorrow morning, jeez, who just can't, calm your keisters, just wait for the morning, like here. Just watch if it stays above this high for London, all right? And there you have a setup, okay? Upside from here if it stays above this high, okay? Good push. Or break, retest, continuation up into the highs. Here's a trade. You can watch going into London, see if this area holds. You can have stop loss maybe below 28.60 to be safe. Break of structure, market structure shift. You have a high here, the low is swept, liquidity grabbed, you shift it up. So as long as it kind of remains above this high, or even like, let's see, so you got to use the whole numbers now. 28.65, 28.60. So that area, like, you may be able to find some more buys in demand. Some of you guys are fiending for a trade. It looks like we could push up this high, like it may maintain it. Overall, it's still more bullish structure in the uptrend. So it looks like we may try to continue up or pull back, continue up type of thing. There you can watch for that in London. All right, there's your trade. So short term, there could be a pullback. Like there's a buy setup right there. Like that looks like it could potentially happen. If you look at what happened over here, it's similar. So you kind of like see this high right here. I'm teaching you guys a good play right now that a lot of eyes are not able to see. Like this, most people are selling these conditions. These conditions, most people are like, it's a bearish. They don't see the accumulation. Kind of break up there, consolidates, continues. So it's kind of like that right there with this high where we're angled at right now. Not every eye can maybe, it's break a structure, market structure shift, understanding structure. So if we're looking at like this high, it looks like to me it's trying to get above there, personally, right? The market could it could consolidate here and go up. Like it could break out up. There could be breakout to the upside, consolidation, breakout upside, or pull back, continuation. There you go. There's a trade for you guys. You can wait. You can kind of take some insight from there, especially for you guys, those of you guys who've been tuning in. Like, or wait for tomorrow morning. See if we get the pump fake candle. Steph Curry at the 3-point pump fake shot. Goes in for the layup. Yo, the NBA right now is like the trade wars. What, like Klay Thompson to Dallas with Kyrie, and then AD for Luka to Los Angeles, and then Jimmy Butler like to Golden State. Holy. And then the Super Bowl's coming up. It's good distractions. Super Bowl is coming up. I guess everybody's gonna focus on the Super Bowl, or isn't it, right? NBA playoffs. They won't be buying Bitcoin. They'll be watching the Super Bowl. Distractions. Keep people entertained enough they get distracted. Yo, watching a basketball game is hard now because it takes like 3-4 hours. So I just start at the second half. I'm like, screw the first quarter, screw the second quarter. Let's just start at the second half of this shit. Like 4 hours. You see how many ads there are nowadays? How many commercials there are nowadays? And now they'll put 6 commercials in 2 minutes. You're like, yo, like ads, commercials, just like, man, like the playoffs, was it last playoffs or 2 playoffs? It just didn't have that same aura to it. Like it did like 10 years. Remember like Miami, LeBron? Remember those playoffs? Like Miami, LeBron playoffs, Golden State, Cleveland playoffs. Those were playoffs. Yeah, the Super Bowl's coming up, so a lot of like it's interesting. Like all the like Super Bowl events like that amaze me. How all this money, like the Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson event, the amount of money that was just like from that event, from bets, from people getting paid, from people watching it, from just like, I'm like, wow, why don't you guys just all buy Bitcoin? There's more. There's probably trades I don't even know about that happened. I think Phoenix, Kevin Durant rumors. KD needs to go. Dallas, Luka. That if you're into basketball, like Luka, he is fine. He might be the only player who, like, scoring rate, how much he's scoring on average, and for his age, to catch up. Like, at this point, the only player they say that has the point to catch up to LeBron points wise. Especially if he just plays, because he has at least another 10 years on him, 15. He's young. Canelo is fighting Jake Paul and Mel. Is it not? Logan Paul and Jake Paul are about to fight. The Paul brothers are about to fight. The Super Bowl's the new Coliseum. Canelo. No way Canelo's fighting. No way. Yo, Canelo's like an actual boxer though. Like, Canelo, what, he probably was a 13-year-old in Mexico, freaking, like, you know, like, that kid has boxing, I keep saying kid, he has boxing in his blood probably since he was a kid. Canelo, that's Canelo Alvarez, right? Or is that everything is the same guy, right? House of Highlights, let me see this. No way, that is Logan Paul. I can't believe I watched some of the Royal Rumble because of Logan Paul, bro. Like, oh wow, yeah, Canelo Alvarez, yeah. Canelo about to get a bag. Canelo got a bag, bro. Probably like, fuck it, yo, maybe that's insane, yo. Jake Paul, that's like, that just shows you. And Jake Paul's young, bro. He manifested all of this. That's the power of the mind. I like, when I sleep, I don't even sleep. I'm usually manifesting, dreaming like of big profit days, like blue screen, $50,000, $100,000 days, like seeing like those types of things, like manifesting when I'm sleeping. Like Jake Paul, if you actually like hate him or love him, if you follow his, like, bro, like he fought Mike Tyson. Like, come on, like what? Hate or love those guys, they're good at making people hate them. They're good at making people hate them and love them. So, hate it or love it, like they stay on top. They're good at marketing. They're good at making people hate. Like, they're really good at what they do. They're good at making people like hate. Like, you know, Logan Paul. How many people hate Logan Paul and talk about it? How many people want to see him get knocked out, right? They want to see him get knocked out, right? Like, some of you guys might want to see that kid get knocked out, right? So, crazy money, though. They're about to cash out. Holy. I wonder if Jake Paul's going to be like, yo, like, just knock me out. Like, I'll run up the bag. Or if he's, like, who knows? Like, he's definitely, like, put a lot of eyes on boxing. Because I'm not going to lie, like, in the last year or two, I've watched boxing more than I ever have. So, definitely put a lot of eyes on boxing, bro, for the sport, for the business. Shows you the power of social media. How a young kid can disrupt an industry, a whole entire industry. He's fighting Canelo Alvarez. What? Like, Canelo Alvarez. Like, maybe you come down, like, and hold this high. Let's look at gold before things get interesting here. Consolidation still. Yeah, it's getting some pre-London volume coming in. It could drop down. I want to see it drop to go up. Like, drop, maybe come down here. Like, that's kind of close. That 2860, 2855 below that. That's like a big engulfing candle right here. 2860. 28.55 is a bit lower. This high is definitely interesting right here because we like took it out. If you look at that high line chart here, this high is interesting at 28.65 because we're above it right now. See how the market structure, if you go to a line chart right now, this is what my eyes are seeing. That high to the left there, it might look a little bit more clear now that I do it on a line chart because you don't have all the candles and stuff. So my eyes are kind of seeing like that high there. Yeah, let me remove all these other green clutter things. All right, so what the high I'm talking about is right here. Like that, I mean, that could be an area still. It tries to have some force above, like some demand above right here, this high. If you go, I'll show you, for example, like it's a play. I've seen this a lot, like on gold, and sometimes it's the setup you miss where it just keeps going, or it's the trade maybe you're not in buys already. Like see here, see this high right here. Like it's like that point, and I'll go to another one right here. So even see like what this one did, how it went down a couple candles. See here, went down, went down, went down, but then it had some bullish candles rejecting, and then it went up. Could be, you could wait. This is a 1 hour chart. You could wait for the 1 hour to even maybe do something like that. To see if it closes more bullish. I could watch this, like that high. I think that high still could potentially hold. That's what I'm seeing. And the last couple times I've seen this same chart, it's done the same thing. That's what I see. You could wait, like see a couple candles are coming down, 1, 2, 3, so they could still come down, form bullish candles in here on the 1 hour, like rejection candles. Start to move up, maybe 28.60 at the lowest. But we'll be live tomorrow, guys. We've been on now for I think about 2 hours. Yeah, we just hit 2 hours here streaming. We were on for 2 hours earlier today. We'll probably be a bit long. Tomorrow will probably be a longer morning. Depending on how, maybe it's a quick bag. Maybe it's a quick bag and we just go straight to like training and stuff. But maybe we'll be on at 7:30 tomorrow. So we'll be on pretty much an hour at least before NFP. We'll be on an hour at least before NFP tomorrow. Because Canelo's fighting, I might watch that. Like, I only watched it because Mike Tyson. I watched it because I thought Mike Tyson, to be honest, like, if you saw the guy's training videos, I was like, yo, this guy's training, yo. But, like, I don't know. I think it's like, it's interesting. I'll watch because Canelo, but they probably have terms. They probably have terms in the contract, like, yo, no, you can't get knocked out or this, that. Like, who knows? It's a money grab. It's a money grab, literally. Italy's fire, best food in the world. And Greece, Italy, ooh, Spain, that's too. I like Spain's food. Greece, amazing food. Italy has amazing food. Like, when I say amazing food, I mean, like, don't judge a book by its cover. You could go look at like a rinky-dink place and be like, that place doesn't look like the place I would want to eat, but it's as good as the place that is, a fine dining restaurant visually, right? The food, you go to a gas station there and anything from a gas station, the autobahns in Italy are fire. Like, the food's way more natural there, right? Like, their tomatoes are different than the tomatoes here in Canada. You're not getting the same tomatoes. It's not the same quality. I've been to Capri, Italy. Capri is a really expensive place in Italy, and the food quality there is just amazing. Italy, like, the food is, like, if you eat a pasta Pasta. Yeah, I'm Canadian. If you eat there, like you eat pasta in Italy, you're not gonna feel bloated. Like you're not gonna feel like, oh, I'm so tired. I need a nap. I need to go to sleep. Yeah, the auto grill. Yeah, I forgot the name. The auto grill. You eat pasta in Italy, you're not gonna like be like, yo, I need to go to sleep right now. Like I'm tired. Like I feel like I got a food coma. Versus like, obviously depending if you go to a fine dining restaurant in somewhere in Northern America, like yeah, you'll find that. But no, everywhere you go in Italy, like you eat, you're gonna feel fine. So like I ate 4 pastas when I went. One time I sat down, ordered 4 different pastas. I ate them all to myself, and I had a beer, probably like 2, 3 beers, all to myself, and I was like, I'm good. Like, yeah, you eat pasta. Like if you eat pasta in Northern America or America, you're gonna eat it. And like a lot of places, where you go to Italy and eat a pasta, you're like, you feel good. It's different. Land of carbs, GMOs, added product. Like yeah, Northern America, North America, America. Like oils, seed oils, a lot of different factors too. Like the ketchup here, we have like 13 ingredients in our ketchup, like the Heinz ketchup, versus like ketchup over there is like 4 ingredients. So like things like that. Next setup, keep an eye on maybe this high. Like you might get a move up from this high potentially. It looks like it could hold that high. Like the structure's going up. Italian coffee's great. Yeah, for sure. Espressos, but we're gonna wrap it up. We'll be on in the morning. NFP's at 8:30. We'll be on at least an hour before 8:30. 8:30. So between 7:30 in the morning, pre-New York Open. If gold, like short term right now, like going into London, you gotta watch this high. You gotta watch price around here, this high, and see if it stays above there or comes into it and then comes back and makes rejection here. If it rejects this area, I'll post this chart in Discord. This is a clean one, but I'm gonna wrap it up for the night. We'll be on tomorrow. That's really it. We got time tomorrow to cover a lot of crypto news. There's a lot of crypto news. Chase Hero. I've heard of that name. There's a lot of crypto news. This is interesting. Bitcoin. Tokens bought. Shooter. Tokens bought. Interesting character. This guy. Go look into Doe Finance. I don't know about this guy, because this guy, Doe Finance, if you look into what happened with Doe Finance, I think a lot of people got hacked or something. There was something called Doe Finance, so like, is that a bust down paddock? I hope that's factory. No. That's not factory. It can't factory. Did they make that factory? You can't be busting down a paddock, a Patek. That's just art. You can't be drilling holes in a watch unless it's factory. It doesn't make any sense. Yeah, it'd be better. Like, yeah. So a guy that's maybe wearing a bust down paddock, unless that's factory, maybe it looks factory. It could be factory. He probably has a lot of money, so it could be factory. Probably has a lot of money. So look, probably has like thousands of Ethereum. Look, it might be factory. If it's factory, it's approved. If it's factory diamonds, it's approved. You need those factory diamonds. That's But yeah, guys, we out. Peace
This
out.
idea doesn't work anymore.
I'll catch everybody in the morning.
Long, long ago, physicists
Yeah, he made a lot of money.
stopped asking the question, what is matter?
Maybe he has a good watch collection. Maybe
They began that way.
He has, yeah.
They wanted to know.
I've seen stuff on
What is
crypto
the
Twitter
fundamental
about it. Like,
substance of
this
the
isn't the
world?
first time I've seen crypto Twitter something
And the
about
more
an
they
Ethereum
asked
guy,
that question, the more they
something Doe
realized they couldn't
Finance.
answer it.
You go look that stuff
Because
up.
if you're going to say what matter is,
World
describe it in
liberty
terms of behavior.
is interesting.
and that is to say in terms
Trump.
of form,
Trump's back.
terms of
World
pattern.
liberty.
You tell what it does. You describe the smallest.
How many
trace
hours?
of it
Usually
you
like
see.
4 hours a day. Yeah.
Do you see what happens?
I get
You don't
most of my
say
sleep
a
on
piece of
weekends,
stone,
right?
And you want to
Like
say, well,
sleep
what is
really,
it?
your diet. If you have a good diet, you don't drink alcohol, you don't do drugs, you'll get way better sleep. If you don't drink, if you're a drinker, your sleeps will be worse. You won't be able to have as efficient sleeps. So the things about my sleeps is they're efficient. From the moment I go to sleep, I pass out. So 3-4 hours of me sleeping is really charged up. Like I could take a nap for 30 minutes and I'm good to go. Depends on the day, time of the day, but I might spread out. Like I'll probably sleep 3 hours before my web. Like it's midnight. My web. I'm gonna be on at 7:30. I'll probably get 3 hours of sleep before that, and then maybe 4 hours of sleep throughout the day. So in the afternoon, like I'll spread out my sleep. Like I spread it out. When most people are sleeping, I'm awake. When most people are waking up, I'm awake. I'm still awake a bit through the day, and then I sleep at the most like kind of bland times of the day, which is like end of London session, maybe like in the afternoon. Like I woke up before I got on this stream. Like I was sleeping before I got on this stream. I slept for the 4 or 5 hours before this stream. Before this stream, I slept about 4 or 5 hour range. I gotta get that thing. What's that thing? Yeah, I gotta get. Why don't I have that? I gotta track my sleep better. I don't know if I'm a deep sleeper. I don't know, but when I knock out, I'm knocked out, and if I can knock out quick, it's enough time. Yeah, alcohol like depends on. I used to drink like 5 times a week, so it depends on if you're a bender like me, drinking 2 bottles of 1942 every week to yourself. So it clogs your brain, right? Like your brain, like the alcohol, your brain, what it does to your brain, it makes your brain cloudy if you're consistently consuming it. It's basically poison. It's basically like you're poisoning your body is what I learned. So if I drink, like I'll drink something of super high quality. Like it needs to be like good high quality, and maybe a beer here and there, like here and there. It's basically poison. 4 or 5 hours is enough. Like if you sleep 8 hours, you might be over. If I sleep too long, then I'm gonna sleep even more longer. Because if I sleep like 8 hours like at once, like I'm tired more. I'm more tired then. So there's oversleeping too. It's kind of like eating. If you eat like if you eat a meal, sometimes you eat a meal and it's like, okay, it was the perfect amount. I'm still hungry. I could eat more, but no, it was the right amount. But if I eat too much more, I'm gonna be too full, right? Yeah, alcohol is full of sugar. That's why I'm so skinny now. I used to weigh 210 pounds. I'm way skinnier now. More muscle. I weigh like 160 now. Yeah, the alcohol will too much weight. So it gives you alcohol gut, liver gut, and it makes you bloated. It swells you. It makes you swollen. If you stop drinking alcohol for 6 months, you'll start your jawline will come in more, like your figure will change. I look younger right now. I'm 28 and I look younger than I did when I was 26, 25. If you look at pictures of me when I was 25, I looked older because I was drinking all the time. Go scroll my Instagram, try to find some older things. You'll see chubby, you'll see a bigger, not chubby, but swollen version of me because of the alcohol. Beer's the worst. Beer's the worst. Tequila's like the only thing I'll touch, but it has to be like good quality. But I'm out. We'll be back. That's our TED Talk tonight on
the world were like the rails on
sleeping. This went to sleep and alcohol. Look at that.
These things exist in a certain way.
And Jake Paul and Logan Paul and Mike.
Yeah. You know that limerick? There was a young man.
Well, I'm out.
Said, damn.
Peace out. Peace out. Peace out.
Seems that I am a creature that moves in determinate grooves. I'm not even a bus. I'm a tram. So. Here's this idea that there's a kind of a plan, and everything responds and obeys that plan. Well, in the 18th century, Western intellectuals began to suspect this idea. And what they suspected is whether there is a lawmaker, whether there is an architect of the universe. And they found out, or they reasoned, that you don't have to suppose that there is. Why? Because the hypothesis of God does not help us to make any predictions. Nor does it, in other words, let's put it this way. If the business of science is to make predictions about what's going to happen, science is essentially prophecy. What's going to happen? By studying the behavior of the past and describing it carefully, we can make predictions about what's going to happen in the future. That's really the whole of science. And to do this and to make successful predictions, you do not need God as a hypothesis, because it makes no difference to anything. If you say everything is controlled by God, everything is governed by God, that doesn't make any difference to your prediction of what's going to happen. And so what they did was simply drop that hypothesis. But they kept the hypothesis of law. Because if you can predict, if you can study the past and describe how things have behaved, and you've got some regularities in the behavior of the universe, you call that law. Although it may not be law in the ordinary sense of the word, it's simply regularity. And so what they did was they got rid of the lawmaker and kept the law. And so they conceived the universe in terms of a mechanism. Something, in other words, that is functioning according to regular, clock-like mechanical principles. Newton's whole image of the world is based on billiards. The atoms are billiard balls, and they bang each other around. And so your behavior, every individual therefore is defined as a very, very complex arrangement of billiard balls, being banged around by everything else. And so behind the fully automatic model of the universe is the notion that reality itself is, to use the favorite term of 19th century scientists, blind energy. In, say, the metaphysics of Ernst Haeckel and T.H. Huxley, the world is basically nothing but energy. Blind, unintelligent force. And likewise, in parallel to this, in the philosophy of Freud, the basic psychological energy is libido, which is blind lust. And it is only a fluke. It is only as a result of pure chances that, resulting from